Why, hello there, everybody. How are you doing today? It's me again. And again, I'm here to bring you yet another update on my situation. And, well, today's update is the same as all previous updates. My phone has not rung yet, because it's going to ring. What the fake, the frauds, the counterfeits, the criminals do not want you to realize. All of the fakes, all the frauds, all the counterfeits who are impersonating godly authorities, who have taken an oath, what they do not want you to understand is that they are bound by that oath. They're bound by the oath. It is their job to tell the truth. And by being bound by that oath, what that means is there must be a legal, lawful reason for them to do anything. And anything that they do must be done legally and lawfully. Okay? Let me give you a perfect example. And what I mean by that is this. A judge cannot arrest you. A law enforcement officer cannot find you guilty of a crime. Okay? A congressman or a senator, they can neither arrest you or find you guilty of a crime or even try a case. Okay? Now, but what can the congressman and senator do? They can write laws. What can the judge do? The judge can find you guilty of a crime or innocent, and the law enforcement officer can indeed arrest you. Why? Because they each have their own little job that they do. What the fake and fraud and counterfeit does is the fake and fraud and counterfeit comes in and says, well, you know what, we're just going to operate underneath opinion. And my opinion says that because I have this badge on my chest, because I have this title of law enforcement officer, judge, congressman, senator, lawyer, whatever, I can do whatever I want to do. I can deem you guilty. Light bulbs coming on. When that is the problem. We have overlooked all of these fakes and frauds and counterfeits operating far outside of their own jurisdictions. Doing things that when a law enforcement officer operates outside their jurisdiction and does not do something legally and lawfully, they've just stopped being a law enforcement officer and become a criminal. Perfect example. Watch this. They cannot just come up to you and make something up and say, well, you're under arrest for, a crime that just doesn't exist. And a crime that has no victim. What does this mean, folks? This means, and you're seeing exactly how many fakes and frauds and counterfeits, this means that there is no such thing as an attempted lewd or lascivious act upon a minor. And in order to solicit a minor to prostitute themselves, you kind of need a minor. There is no minor listed here. Period. Period. This is a perfect example of what's wrong with our country today, because we are overlooking this. Real law enforcement officers are overlooking this. Why? Because while we've been overlooking this has been overlooked since 1997. These people owe me a boatload of money. These people owe me 20 years of my life, because again, There is no legal, lawful reason for this document to be written. No reason for it. Which means, and the simple fact that it was written is a crime. Police officers just can't walk around and do whatever in the world that they want to do. And what always happens? What always happens? It doesn't matter if it's the fake and fraud and counterfeit criminal, or the bully, or the know-it-all citizen. What do they say? Well, I think you were trying. When there's absolutely no evidence of anybody trying anything. When everybody says, Kay, what happened on 12/3/1997? This is what happened. They are the legal authority. They are the ones that have taken an oath. They have to explain why they wrote this. And because there is no legal, lawful reason for this to have been written, again, there is no such thing as an attempted lewd lascivious upon a child, upon a minor. And in order to solicit a minor to prostitute themselves, you need a minor. There is no minor, there is no child under the age of 16, which means it is a crime. They are admitting, and you're looking right at it, they are admitting that I was not arrested, I was kidnapped. And the problem is, it was prosecuted. And there's a $25,003 bond. And now, what's the cover-up? The cover-up is this. I have to prove that I did not do something. I had to explain why the police have said that I did something that there is no record of anyone doing. There is no record of anyone committing the act of lewd lascivious sexual battery, which again is having some type of sexual contact, either orally, anally, or vaginally, with a child under the age of 16. I have to prove why they're saying that I did that, and I have to prove why they're saying that why they've said that I supposedly solicited someone to prostitute themselves, when again, there is no record of anyone committing the lewd or lascivious act of sexual battery, or there is no record of anyone on 12/3/1997 soliciting anyone to prostitute themselves. Meaning this is a lie, meaning because who is lying, that's two crimes. But you all take it simply because of who's saying it. That's the problem. You all refuse to stand up to these fakes, to these frauds, to these counterfeits. Simply because why? Well, you've got something to hide? I don't care what you've got to hide. Look. Well, anyway, further proof of the crime? Well, why is this listed here? Simple. Because they prosecuted a kidnapping as if it was an arrest. They prosecuted it. Taggart prosecuted it. So, and again, here we go. Finding probable cause to detain, December 4th, 1997. That judge stopped being a judge. And here they're setting a bond for a crime that does not exist. Taggart. Setting up $25,003 bond when it's not a bond, it is a ransom. Because a bond is only set when a crime is committed, and there is no such thing as a crime, and it's their job, it's this judge's job to know what the statutes are. He stopped being a judge. Period. And again, order of insolvency, and here's my constitutional rights. You're looking right at it. 970470099-5. Right here. Here it is. 970470099-5. The arrest and booking report number right there. Here, maybe that helps. Does that help? Don't ask me why the court doesn't put the 0 in there. Okay? The first 0. Don't know, but this is what it's for. And again, anyone who violates my rights, this is a violation of my constitutional rights. They have documented themselves. They obviously wrote it. I'm obviously at the jail. They obviously set a bond for a crime that doesn't exist. And it's their job to make sure that what is happening to... It's their job to make sure that what they are doing to me is not done to anyone. But you all overlook it simply because, well, I don't know why. Okay? I don't know why. But again, there's my little John Hancock. Invocation of constitutional rights. And why are they so scared? This invocation of rights shall not be deemed to have been waived by me unless an attorney has been provided to me, either retained or appointed, and I execute a written waiver of these rights, signed by myself and my attorney in open court. Anyone violating this invocation of constitutional rights will be, not might be, not may be, will be subject to legal action for sanctions and, or at the very least, damages. That means you all owe me a whole lot of money. Because this has been going on. This has been on my record. And because, if, again, it's very simple. Had I ever showed up to court on 12/18, all of these people would have gone to prison, because there is no such thing as an attempted lewd lascivious act upon a minor. And in order to solicit a minor to prostitute themselves, you kind of need a minor. And there is no minor listed here. But the only reason why you all even stop to consider this, the possibility, is because, well, you want somebody in charge, because you want to be in charge of somebody else. You want to say, oh my goodness gracious, Kay, see, you're just like me. You're terrible. You're bad. When this is, I haven't done anything. This document does not state that I committed any kind of crime, nor does it document that I committed any kind of crime, but it does document all of their crimes, plain and simple. Okay? But again, they have a cow because, well, they prosecuted, and then in comes my public no defender. In comes my public no defender, LaFonda Gibson, and she starts telling me the same thing, telling me how I about all this fictitious stuff. When she's a lawyer. What, they can't read? Can you read? I can read. Where exactly is the minor? Where? Where is it? Doesn't exist. See, right now a lot of you all are going tilt because, well, man, the people that you get your validation from, the people who these are the police, these are the good guys. Well, just because you got to grab a hold of a title doesn't mean that you are a true godly authority. Because these people are violating the oath. They have violated my first, fourth, fifth, sixth, eighth, first, fourth, fifth, eighth, and 14th United States constitutional rights. Maybe even my sixth. I don't know. I got to go look it back up again. First, fourth, fifth, eighth, and 14th United States constitutional rights. Shredded them, violated them, all by doing this, all by prosecuting this. So she comes in, she has a cow, and again, TubeU channel. If you want to see the whole story, you look at the playlist called Unleashing the Truth Lines. Unleashing the Truth Lions. So she has a cow because I know that I haven't done anything. They can't gaslight me. They can't continue. They can't convince me that I was. That basically what they're saying. What LaFonda Gibson told me was, we know what you were trying to do. Come on, you were trying to do this, and why? Why are they throwing me underneath the bus? Because if they can't get me to even at the very least admit that I was thinking about doing something illegal, they're all going to go to prison, and let's not forget, they're going to pay me a pretty big chunk of change. So says the law, and I just read it to you. That's why they're scared about this. Well, they're the ones that have been overlooking this for 20 years. Now, you all owe me for 20 years of my life. Each and every one of these 100 plus people. Do the math. So she has a cow, and she leaves out of there, scared to death. Because I know I haven't done anything wrong. And then, well, I bond out. I bond out. And, well, we can't have this. We can't have this because, well, now, I'm out of their control now. And I bonded out on the 8th, and within 10 days, on the 18th, I'm going to be in court. They got 18 days to come up and try to do something, because on the 18th, they're all going to go to prison because they can't admit that they didn't do their job. And they didn't do their job. So, what do? Well, as soon as bonding out, the next day, I bonded out on a Monday night at 10 o'clock. December 8th, 1997, look it up on your calendars, was a Monday night. The next day, after coming back home from work, from catching up on I had a lawn service, there was a letter from the state attorney's office telling me that mysteriously and magically, all charges were dropped. Mr. Nelson, there is no need for you to go through the expense of retaining an attorney, as all charges are dropped. Well, I know I don't have to go through the expense. I've already been assigned a public no defender. And I'm like, why the hell didn't y'all do this yesterday? Y'all could have saved me $2,500. Oh, and folks, this bond has never been discharged. I never heard back from this bonding company. They have to explain, why didn't they make sure that I was in court for this crime? Well, I'm going to tell you why they made sure I wasn't in court for this crime. Because it's not a crime. And had I showed up to court, had this 12/18 court date ever been met, they'd all go to prison, including these guys, because now they're in on it. Because evidently these guys don't. And again, the bonding company is an officer of the court. Why is this still an active bond? Well, because if I ever have my day in court, they're all going to go to prison. Hello, this is an insurance company. They owe me for 20 years of my life. They didn't do their job either. Now you start to understand how big this is. So, what do? They say, well, because you're still out on bond for a crime that doesn't exist, for one crime that doesn't exist and another crime that didn't even have a victim, because, again, there is no such thing as an attempted lewd or lascivious act upon a minor. And while you can solicit a minor to prostitute themselves, you kind of need a minor, which, of course, is... And there isn't one, which, of course, is why this bond is still active. It's never been discharged. So, what do? Well, they get Charlie Coffer. And this is the misdemeanor court case. Oh, and just so we're clear, remember I said in a previous video that... arrest and booking report number 970470099. Can you see that? 97047-099-5. Uh-oh. Does that look familiar? 97047-099-5. And what is this arrest and booking report supposed to be for? Well, it's supposed to be for just plain old soliciting for prostitution and attempted, whatever that is. Count 3 was added years later. Now, again, that's one magic book arrest and booking report number, isn't it? This one says right here, attempted lewd lascivious act upon a minor and soliciting for prostitution of a minor. You can't... caught. Who is the judge, supposedly? Why, it's my good buddy, my good pal, Charles Coffer. Why is his name listed there? His name shouldn't be listed there because Charles, and this it was filed, when was it filed? Supposedly on 1/6/1998 is when it was filed. Well, there's one little problem. Charles Coffer did not become a judge until July 14th, 1998. So unless this man's got a time machine, something's wrong. His name shouldn't be on there. He wasn't a judge. But who was? Who was he? Well, what did he do? Well, that same state attorney's letter that I got told me I had to go down to J1, and again on the TubeU channel, it's all in the videos in the playlist called "Unleashing the Truth Lions," and he basically impersonated a judge on December 15th, 1997, 3 days before this court date. And what did he tell me? He said, "Oh no, it's all over and done with. There's nothing else you have to do. Bye bye. See you later." So if there was and again, well, we're at 22 minutes. But as you can see, so why? Now you're starting to understand exactly why my criminal history report says that on 12/3/1997, I was really arrested for lewd lascivious act, sexual battery, and soliciting for prostitution. Bring this out. It doesn't exist. The reason why this says that is because, well, again, they prosecuted a kidnapping. Where's it at? What did I do with it? They have prosecuted a kidnapping as if it was an arrest. Oh, it's right here in front of my face. They prosecuted a kidnapping as if it was an actual arrest. And you know it's a kidnapping because there is no such thing as an attempted lewd lascivious act upon a minor. And in order to solicit a minor to prostitute themselves, you kind of need a minor. And they all know. Everyone that has signed this has taken an oath to tell the truth, has taken an oath to ensure that what they are doing to me is not done. And yet they're the ones that are doing it to me. Over and done with, folks. I refuse to overlook any longer. Period. Now, the only question, I'm just here to tell you the truth. I'm not expecting you to do anything because, but who am I expecting to do something? Everyone who has taken an oath. That's who I'm expecting to do something. We're about to find out who the real, true oath keepers are and who all the fakes and frauds and counterfeits are. Because I've said it many times before, all you have to do to point out the fake, the fraud, the counterfeit, the criminal, is to give them the opportunity to fulfill their office. That's all I've done. I've reported these crimes right to these people. The chief judge, the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper, the current sheriff, Mike Williams, the current undersheriff, they all know about this. Pat Ivey, the current undersheriff, he's a fake, he's a fraud, he's a counterfeit. He called me up on July 21st, 2015, saying, you have to give us a couple of days to look into this. Well, it's what, 3 years later? Almost 3 years? Still hasn't called me back. Why? Because they're caught. And because they have refused to do anything about this, they are convinced that if they just keep overlooking it enough, I'll go away. When they're mocking Almighty God, and Almighty God is not mocked, because that's who they took that oath to. Now, I'm just here to tell you the truth. That's why I know this is over and done with, because my God has showed me that this is over and done with. Those criminals cannot prevent justice from being delivered to me, because they're not the ones that deliver justice. I'm just waiting again for a real law enforcement officer, a real judge, or real true godly authority to step up and fulfill their oath. And it's going to happen any day now. And that, my friend, is the truth. The only question that you have to ask yourself is, what exactly are you going to do once justice does take place? Once the true godly authority no longer overlooks and starts enforcing the law. What exactly are you going to do when you find out that your guy, that your gal, is a fake and a fraud and a counterfeit? Prepare yourself, because that day is coming very, very soon. Just saying.